So, with all that said, what is the perfect and ideal amount of sites, websites, whether that's content sites or affiliate sites, to have to run and to scale? Well, the answer is it depends. And usually it depends on two things. The first thing is, hey guys, Mo Muller here, and in today's video, we're gonna go over how many affiliate websites is too many. So, whether you're just starting out and you're thinking about maybe creating one, two, or more websites, or you have one or two already, you are experienced and you have a small portfolio, and you're trying to really ascertain what is the correct number of websites to have from an efficiency standpoint and also from a profitable standpoint, today's going to be your video. Let's get into today's video. So I've been attending a few seminars and a few webinars recently, and one of the questions that I get asked quite a lot is how many affiliate websites is too many? Now, usually, just starting out, you maybe just have the one website. As you start to get a bit more experienced in the industry, maybe see some good results, you may start to scale up to 2, 3, or 4. Potentially, you get to a point where you have like 5 or more. I know people personally that have 30 websites, and to me, that's just crazy, insane. But there's definitely a sweet spot in terms of how much website you own, your productivity, your income, and generally your results. And that's what I'm going to share in today's video. So before we get into the magic number, or should I say the magic number that I think is relevant, let's go over the main important things that you actually need to do on a day-to-day basis, or at the very least weekly, to maintain, grow, and potentially sell or exit in the long term, or maybe just keep the cash flow. So here are the main things you need to do to grow your website. So first off, you're going to have to invest in content, whether that's going to be you writing it yourself, so investment in time, or paying a team, an agency, or a freelancer. You're going to have content, and it's going to have to be quite frequent as well. Second of all, you're probably going to have to build links. Sometimes people decide just to go down the content route and have fantastic content that naturally attracts links, but most people generally produce some type of effort into building backlinks, whether that's going out and trying to get someone to guest post for them, whether that's some type of outreach to get someone to link back to you on an existing post. Potentially they're going to invest in Harrow, so they're going to have a VA or potentially themselves set up those type of Harrow links, or spend money on digital PR, or maybe even just pay for links. In some shape or form, you're going to have links coming in. You could potentially even acquire a H domain and redirect that directly into your website. Either way, there's going to have to be some type of budget, and usually that's going to go on links. And I think generally content and links are the biggest allocation of budget that people are going to have, and those are going to take up most of people's time. Now, on top of that, you're probably going to have some type of on-page SEO expert, or potentially yourself, making sure that all the pages and posts are optimized correctly to rank in the search engine. Next, you're going to have to spend some time on CRO, or conversion rate optimization. And all that means is making sure that each post, each page, and generally your website is optimized to increase revenue instead of decrease revenue. So things like making sure that your call to action buttons are the right color and are hyperlinked correctly. Things like making sure that your product images are hyperlinked and go over to your affiliate page. Potentially having a conversion pop-up box or opt-in box that comes up where someone can click through or sign up to your newsletter, and generally making sure that there's not too many ads and they're not intrusive so your users don't have a bad experience. Now, to be honest, we're only halfway down the list. There are also things like website design and configurations that you're going to have to think about. So these are things like maybe acquiring a premium theme or picking up premium plugins and making sure all of your plugins are updated and are running correctly. Also, you're going to have to invest in website speed. Google has definitely said that the speed of your website and how fast it takes for your website to load is a ranking factor. So you're going to have to make sure that's correctly done. And all of the other Google Core Vitals need to be correctly done as well. Lastly, for more established sites, you're going to have some type of social media strategy. So whether that's having traffic come in from Pinterest, from YouTube, from Facebook, etc. There is definitely a need to have more diversified traffic, especially in today's day and age with Google Core updates being very turbulent. It's important to have some type of social media strategy. Lastly, very frequently, generally a few times during the year, you're going to have to take a look at optimizing your revenue. So whether that's changing over to different affiliate partners to test how the conversions work, potentially applying to a new ad network to see if you can increase your RPMs, and looking at your optimization and your revenue plan in general to see if you can increase revenue in other ways. So for example, email marketing, maybe setting up some type of private sponsorship deals so people can pay directly to advertise on your site, etc. To be honest, the list is longer. Now, with all of the hard work that you have to go through just to keep one website above board and making sure that it continues to get traffic and revenue and grows, what's the advantages of having 2 or more? So first off, and for me, the biggest advantage of having an additional website is diversification. So you can have one website, and if you get hit by a core update, or if your affiliate partner changes their terms and conditions and you lose revenue, it gives you the ability to kind of diversify your output and make sure that you have more than one revenue stream. So if one website goes down, at least the other one's more stable and you can depend on that income. Now, secondly, Now, number two is sometimes people set up these 2, 3, or 4 websites as just testing grounds. So they have an idea, potentially it's an idea in creating a new type of content in the specific silo, or it's an idea on some type of outreach project, and they don't really want to negatively affect their primary website. So they'll set up a few small offshoots within the same niche, just as a testing ground, which kind of makes a lot of sense. Sometimes people just get bored of just having the one site, and I do understand that. You can be all in on one website, all in on content production, on links, and every single day churning out information, having meetings, and setting up things to make this one website grow. And sometimes it can just get boring because you just don't generally have a big interest in that particular niche. So having 1 or 2 websites that are totally different to your primary website and primary blog can help sometimes just to refresh yourself, spend a few days on doing something else, and then come back and feel a lot more at ease with your day-to-day tasks. Also, from a budget point of view, especially if you're looking to come into the space to invest, it would probably be more sensible to diversify and allocate your budget to more than one project and to more than one website. So if you're spending quite a lot of money, somewhere in the mid 6 figures, and you want to keep your risk kind of low, it would make sense to diversify against 2, potentially maybe 3 different websites, as opposed to just investing in one, especially if you're new to this industry. So those are the general advantages of having more than one website. So let's look at the disadvantages now. What would be the reasons or the drawbacks where having more than one website would go against you? So the first one is, number one, your time isn't very well optimized. As you can imagine, having 2, 3, 4, or 5 plus websites is going to spread your time out quite thinly across each one. And usually that means that every single website only gets a small amount of your time. And if you go back to all of the things that need to happen to make your website successful, you're gonna definitely run out of time. There's no doubt about that. Now, secondly, and just as important as the first, if you have allocated your budget on more than one website and more than one content site or affiliate site, generally your budget's going to be stretched. Now think about having one website and spending a chunk of money on content or spending a chunk of money on links. If you have 2, 3, 4 plus, you're going to have to use that same budget, spread it out across multiple websites, which usually means that you're not going to have as much content or as much links per campaign and per project. Now, of course, while that's fantastic for diversification, in terms of growing one asset and scaling it over time, your budget's going to definitely be spread out a lot thinner unless you have an unlimited budget, which most people don't. Also, from a concentration point of view, if you have multiple websites, and I know this firsthand because it happens all the time, you're consistently going to have to continue to put out fires. And by that, I mean all of these small admin tasks that you have to do, plus potential major tasks that you have to do across each website. And this could be very wide in terms of what you have to do. So think about websites going down because maybe it's been hit by a virus and you need to go and attend to that to make sure that's correctly sorted out, all the way down to making sure VAs get paid on time, and everything in between. You can have lots of different timetables and things that you need to do per project at different times. And generally, having more websites just means more things are going to go wrong. So you're either going to have to make sure that you are really well optimized in terms of your time, or you're going to have to pay a team to manage your sites for you. And one other small point is, if you do have multiple sites and you decide to have them in the same niche, if that niche is hit by a core update, so for example, like a financial niche, maybe some type of health related Google core update, then of course all your websites are going to see a drop, which doesn't really help you in terms of diversification. So with all that said, what is the perfect and ideal amount of sites, websites, whether that's content sites or affiliate sites, to have to run and to scale? Well, the answer is it depends. And usually it depends on 2 things. The first thing is, if you're running it by yourself, this is your very first site, or you've just got into the space, I wouldn't recommend having more than 2. I think you definitely should grow the first one by yourself. Potentially the second one you should outsource, pay for something that's established, and then use the skills that you've learned from your first one into your second one. I think generally having 2 websites for a beginner is manageable and also smart in terms of risk. Now, if you are a little bit more expert and you have a really big budget, then I think 3 is an ideal number. And the reason I say that is because generally one of those 3 will always be your primary website and be the one that's responsible for the highest revenue. And then the other 2, you can allocate a small amount of budget and time to see what happens in terms of growth. And of course, if you have a higher budget, you can probably hire a team, whether that's VAs or website management firm, and they can come in and help you with the day-to-day operations. So I hope that's been a really insightful and useful video. Feel free to add any comments in the comment box below, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.